During a check, Papillon learns the rich man has hidden a fortune inside his body. Every convict in the prison will want to cut him open to get the money he's carrying. Watching this frail rich man, Papillon knows Dega is his only hope for a jailbreak. The penal colony they face is a death trap where no one ever walks out alive, and the labor is brutal. Once aboard, Papillon finds him. "You've got a lot of eyes on you. All I need is enough money for an escape. Send the scorpion to the frog." Dega disagrees, feeling that bribing the guards is safer than trusting Papillon. Dega thinks his cash protects him, yet it's really a beacon calling for his death. That night, Dega wakes up to screams, watching as his cabin mate is killed brutally by an attacker in the dark. The attacker pulls the money from the body, dropping half, while the guards ignore the corpse to snatch the cash before they carry the man off to be dumped. The body is thrown into the deep ocean. They dump the body into the sea as inmates watch in silence, because life is worthless here. At dawn, Dega finds Papillon to talk. "Once I'm set up on the island," but when Papillon asks if he wants to escape together, Dega says he has no intention of escaping. Dega has no intention of running from this place. They strike a deal for freedom, but that very night an attacker eyes Dega, forcing Papillon to step in and stop him before things turn fatal. Papillon is ready and subdues him. Papillon saves the timid Dega, yet he faces punishment from the guards. He spares the attacker, not out of fear, because he's no born criminal. He just wants his freedom back after being framed for murder. Framed by the Paris police and gangsters, he faces life in this prison, so escape is his only path back to his stolen, long-lost freedom. Dega's cash is his only ticket out, beginning a bond that lasts for a decade. Weeks later, they reach the island prison, and once they step inside, the men know they've entered a living nightmare for the rest of their days. The warden watches the new prisoners. He says the first escape attempt gets 2 years. A second try gets 5 years in solitary, and then life on Devil's Island. Murder means the guillotine. But the men soon learn the reality inside is far worse than his words. They share one bed, bats hang from the roof, and they must use the toilet in public view. By day, they toil in the quarry. Every step is torture, and men collapse and die there daily. On the first day, Dega struggles, clinging to the hope that his wife will save him from the pain. He's too weak to push the cart, and a bad bout of illness makes him lose his hidden stash of money. Papillon is horrified to see the cash gone, since that's his only real chance to escape the prison. But Dega is too weak to move, so Papillon pushes the cart and his friend along, one fading while the other fights to survive. The daily grind has no end in sight, but things change when a truck carrying women for the officers gets stuck in the mud. The boatman serves the prison elite and moves freely, so Papillon offers him 5,000 francs for a chance to escape, and the man gives him 3 days to finish his plans. Before they can move, others target Dega's cash. While they're washing, a crew is let in to corner them both. Papillon rushes in to fight. Though Dega is too scared to move, Papillon fights them all off by himself before his appeal is ever heard. The next morning, shots ring out as the prisoners are forced to watch an escapee be killed to make an example of him before the other men. He's sent to the guillotine as a warning to the others. After the execution, the warden orders Papillon and Dega to dump the body in the grave. Terror keeps Dega frozen in place. The guard sees his frozen stare and swings the whip. But Papillon, seeing the guard won't stop, throws a rock to knock him down. As sirens wail, Papillon runs into the jungle, chased by heavy gunfire and shouting voices while he pushes through the dense rain. Papillon jumps into the river to reach the meeting spot. Then he finds the boatman and offers double pay for his escape. But he never expected such a cold and brutal betrayal. The boatman sold him out to the warden. Papillon is caught, and luckily, the guard he hit survived. He's sent to another small island for 2 years. Papillon is thrown into a tiny cell with no light or sound, watching men go mad and die every day, while he survives on half a bowl of thin, tasteless soup. Yet Papillon drinks it all to live, and the guard he hit comes back to beat him. Left to heal alone, he's near his end, until a tiny spark of hope finds its way into his cell at last, giving him a reason to live. He finds half a coconut with a note promising more. Someone has bribed the guards to keep him alive, and this brings him a fresh, real sense of hope. Papillon chews the meat and drinks the sweet milk. It isn't much, but it's enough to make him feel alive. He starts exercising in the dark, knowing he must be strong. But his luck fades when a guard suddenly decides to inspect the food. Blood seeps out from under the door after the brawl. The food delivery inmate is overheard, and the warden storms in to interrogate. The warden, furious, cuts Papillon's rations in half. His food is slashed even further, leaving him barely alive. But even as his body fails, his spirit refuses to break. In the dark, he never lets go of the fight or his longing for real freedom. The warden offers him meat soup in exchange for a name, but he will not turn on his dear friend. He tries to feed the soup to the warden instead, and the furious warden locks him away to make him suffer for his defiance. He orders his men to seal the cell's roof, blocking every single ray of light from entering the pitch-black space. Papillon is left to exist in a world of nothing, and as the light fades, only the sound of his breathing remains. He starts to hallucinate, his past playing out like a film in his mind, over and over again. When he's finally released, he's nothing but a skeleton of a man, mentally and physically racked by his long stretch in the hole. Now working as an accountant for the warden, no longer has to suffer in the quarry with the other prisoners. He rushes to the medical ward, hoping to be recognized. Seeing him like this, Dega is overcome with guilt. Papillon woke up because he was faking the madness to survive those dark years. Papillon hasn't broken, and the warden will host a movie night, giving them a chance while everyone is relaxed. They need a boat and a way to lure the guard away, but with Dega on the inside, they finally have a real shot at escape. With the plan set, Papillon plays crazy while secretly hiding the pills the doctor gives him. He spots the guard's twisted habits, tells Maturette about the plan, and the man agrees to help. And Dega finds a man who can get them a boat. Everything is set for Sunday, with Salir faking illness to get to the infirmary, and they prepare to finally break out of this hellhole, while Papillon and Salir quietly pry the metal legs from their bunks. They follow him into the latrine and smash the guard's skull. Red-eyed with rage, Maturette wants to finish the brute off, but Papillon grips him tight, telling him to stay calm, because if they kill him and the escape fails, they'll all face the guillotine. Yet another guard hears the noise. Luckily, he collapses from the drugs before he can call for help. The three rush out, and after 2 days of hard work, they dash for freedom. But a heavy downpour begins, and a film screening is canceled. The warden calls everyone in, blocking their planned path. But as the power cuts and the alarms blare, the chaos works in their favor, helping them find a way to the outer wall. With the tower keys, and with no power, the locks are useless to the guards anyway. They take down the guard in the hall, reach the tall tower, and leap off the wall one by one to flee past the prison gates at the top. But when Dega finally jumps, he unfortunately lands hard on the ground below, leaving him behind. But Papillon and Maturette carry him into the woods. They find the boatmen and cram into the boat, drifting down the river until they reach the vast. Just as they think they've made it, the boat starts to leak, forcing them to bail out water. The boat can't hold all of them, and Salir eyes the injured Dega, wanting to throw him overboard. But Papillon will never let that happen. Heads right for them, but Papillon blocks him, and a fight breaks out on the leaking boat. Cellier is strong and pins Papillon down. As Papillon fights to break free, Dega finds the courage to grab the blade and drives it into Cellier's back, ending the brutal attack. They toss Cellier into the sea, but as the storm hits, Papillon blacks out, and when he finally wakes, he's stranded alone on an unknown shore. Local natives find him and tell him he's in Colombia, and to his relief, his 2 companions are alive too, as he sets out to find them. So he rushes to tell Dega they have to move on and leave this place right away, but it's already too late, since Cellier's death and sheer exhaustion make Dega want to stop. Papillon hits the road alone, but he doesn't get far before he hears a car and ducks into the bushes by the road. Prison guards appear on the road, but Papillon turns back, risking his own life to save his friend instead of just staying hidden. Yet by the time he reaches Dega, it's already too late. Watch your mouth. They're trapped and cornered. 5 years later, he steps out of his cell, gaunt and white-haired, while the warden waits to see the man who survived. They all want to see the legend, because Papillon survived 5 years of solitary confinement. On Devil's Island, where there are no guards because the cliffs are too high, and one jump could mean death on the rocks, so the men here either lose their minds or never come back. To his surprise, on that island, as it turns out, after Dega gets caught, the warden feels played and sends him straight to Devil's Island. He spends his days painting images of Papillon, who remains the only source of hope he has in this dark, lonely, forgotten place. On the cliff, staring at the waves, until he finally uncovers the hidden secret of how the ocean current flows. A powerful ocean current rolls toward the mainland every few days. It could carry someone to freedom if they time it right. At first, Dega doubts him, until Papillon leads him to the edge of the cliff and throws a coconut into the sea. watching it get caught by a hidden current pulling toward the mainland. That night, they build rafts from bags of coconuts, tying them together until they're ready to leap into the sea and finally make their daring escape. They drag the rafts to the edge, and Papillon gets ready to bind them together. Papillon throws his raft off the cliff and jumps after it, taking his final leap of faith into the ocean. The waves swallow him as Dega watches for a long time. Just when he thinks it's over, a shout rings out from the sea. And with that final cry, he rides the current to freedom, escaping that hell on the island forever. From prison, he wins a lifelong battle against his own fate. This story comes from Papillon's own book, named after the butterfly tattoo he carries on his chest. Every struggle in the book is something he actually lived through. The prison holds his body, but never his soul. Eternity is fighting through hell to reach the light. Not because he's a coward, but because he's lost his hope and his strength. He leaves his dreams to the butterfly. Some souls are born to soar above the cage because they were never meant to be trapped inside. This story still moves us because we all live inside cages of our own. True freedom means having the courage to never bow to fate while moving toward the light.